It's the time to get down.
Here's what's so funny, you guys. You would think that this campaign, this anti-WikiLeaks campaign, would be coming from outside the U.S., right?
No.
The vast majority of the people who are participated are citizens of the United States of America.
That makes sense.
Now, let me ask you this. This is what I said. And this because I raised these issues because I'll relate it back to Nazi Germany and fascism. Okay? Because ultimately, you have to understand that it's within your human nature to go along with instructions. You ought to see the studies. They have a lot of these studies. I don't know if you guys have seen the videos where they did these studies where they tell a person, you look through a window and there's a guy hooked up to electric and they tell you to shock him.
Yeah.
And after a while the guy's, I don't want to be in this anymore. And they say, shock him. And the people say, but he says he doesn't want to do it. That's okay. You're not responsible. We know we're doing. Shock him. So you have to understand, most human people are sheep. That's why Nazi Germany occurs. That's why Rwanda occurs.
Right.
It doesn't take any particular culture of people to slaughter.
That's right.
So to me, this is what's part of the issue. To me, I go, if your government has an action that kills 15 civilians for every suspect, not even every person who's actually guilty, kills, I would think that would generate a fair amount of ill will. You know, in the Wild Wild West, they used to say, when you kill a man, you need to kill his children, because if not, they're coming after you.
Kill you.
So I wonder how many, when they talk about people hating the U.S., and they say they hate the U.S. because they're jealous of our lifestyle.
Our economy right
I've
now.
never seen people do suicide missions out of jealousy. I raised the question, is it anti-patriotic? Is it being a traitor to want to out those things? If your government is killing 15 civilians and you being a traitor to expose that to the world, I raised that as an issue here today.
No,
you're not being. I think you have a moral responsibility.
This is the whole issue, because to me, I go, what are you exposing? See, this is what I'm saying. When governments inherently do these types of things, I think it's your responsibility as a human being. And so hence, this is why WikiLeaks has the support. By the way, I have another article that I bookmarked that the Canadians were actually, the Canadians.
We have a different system of government.
Right, they were looking at this going like, isn't this crazy?
We have more peacekeeping
how the
officers
U.S.
than
does
we do
this.
Really?
Wow.
Even though governments all over the world, we know, are being pressured into dealing with this. Now, meanwhile, no one has actually said any real laws that the man has violated. He hasn't been charged with anything here.
See, but the problem is
in the
with
U.S.
is that like you should let the U.S. people know what's going on within the system. But now, when you let the rest of the world know what's going on, the hatred's going to grow, and stuff like 9/11. You know, the push for stuff like that might happen more. So that's my biggest concern. The concern is, letting the U.S. people know what's going on within the government. But now when you're letting the whole world, people are going to want to do suicides and bombings and everything else more, because all this information is, being broadcasted through the internet.
Well, yeah, but if it was secret, it would go on, right?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, isn't a way just to let the U.S. know, but she's right.
Well, you assume.
Wait. Why are we debating? Hold on. Why are we debating whether we know this is going on or not?
The U.S. knows.
Wait. Why are we debating that and the fact that it just shouldn't go on?
No. I'm saying the U.S. people should know. People, of course, the government knows, and people have had feelings that things like this have been going on.
Right.
The American public should know. Therefore, now you can, react to it. But now, when you let it go worldwide,
well, let me give you guys.
But they have us fear-mongered with the threat of treason, and oh my God, we can't speak up against this because now we're against our government. Now we're unpatriotic or traitors.
And that's the question. Now, by the way, Takwasi, they also had an issue with, just say some of the literature I brought out before, that even before when Operation Desert Storm was going on, I go online and you can get a lot of the studies that are done, and sometimes you wonder who funds these studies. But they did a study back then that said the majority of the U.S. would support a war just to have lower oil prices.
Yeah, that's
the vast majority of people in the United States.
Are you talking about like Halliburton employees?
No, the U.S. public would support a war just to have lower oil prices, as long as they did not have to see U.S. dead. The study said that they did not that you get a different. So hence, you notice what's the difference between now and Vietnam. You're not even allowed to videotape or take pictures of your own dead
That's right.
coming off the plane.
That's right.
Because of these same studies, you're not allowed to see U.S. dead.
That's right.
When Vietnam was going on, at the end of the news every day, they would tell you
They would.
how many died that
And
day.
they would show you clippings.
Well, now, because of this, they learned some things, so now you don't get to know
More
or
educated.
see.
Yeah, that's actually true because when Afghanistan, you were getting people, like they were showing people, now you don't see it at all. And
No.
there's still people
They want to
there.
keep us in the dark. You know
Yeah.
what? Maybe they did us a favor by not telling us this so that people didn't revolt and have the guilt and have the... Because they're doing what they're doing regardless of what we want them to do. So without telling us, like our heads are, so to speak, theoretically in the sand because we are so powerless against it, I feel.
I don't think powerless. I think that we people have come together as a unit. People are so buried in their lives because with the recession and they're working,
Their
they're
own
doing all
problems.
this. Who really sits down and watches the news? Who actually really reads a newspaper anymore?
Yeah.
All the issues that are around, like you rather watch Entertainment Tonight.
Exactly.
It's
And
too
numb.
overwhelming.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
And
You
then
have the
there's a little blue
distractions.
pill. U.S. has more pills for people
Yeah.
than it should be legal.
That's right.
Okay, and we are intaking them as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So it's like we're sedating ourselves to everything. So
Yeah.
crazy.
but if you actually were to know what was going on and people were to take a power to it, then the government would fear that.
Right.
Well, that's why they make shut us down.
No, I think it's good. There needs to be a revolt. But the thing is, people got to realize that with a revolt, if we want humane practices and we want moral responsibility, there is a price for that. There is more
There
expensive
is, that's
oil.
right.
There is more expensive products coming out of China. This is the thing. I used to work in retail, and people would always come in complaining, why is this made in China? Because you don't want to pay more for it.
thank
right.
you.
You have to recognize that there's a responsibility that comes with moral responsibility and a global responsibility.
And
You can't have everything.
And then that's right. And then on top of that, you come to find out things later on, like for example, the BP oil spill. We identified one in Africa, right, Vic? That's been going on for over 20 years.
Wow.
There's a couple of them in
Definitely.
South America. One of them, the tribe, even sent people up here. So you find out later on that these things are so controlled, just like BP. Supposed to be spending, 20 billion? No, it's 4 billion a year for 5 years, and that money is yet to really be seen. Another thing, remember, who is BP's partner in the well? Who certified the well? So you have to understand how legal suits go. Who is the deep pocket in the well? Ladies and gentlemen, you are. Let's see if you get that money. Let's take us to the next topic. Because of all this, backlash against the president, President Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, I raise this to you. People are saying now, lately he has agreed to go along with, they came up with a compromise over the tax cuts with the Republicans. So your president announced a compromise. Well, as a backlash to that, radical leftists hit the airwaves like crazy. Also, you even had a revolt among some of the Democrats who refused to sign it. So now, over the weekend, I don't know if you noticed, but the president, who in the past has shunned certain kinds of appearances by Bill Clinton, actually had your former president, Bill Clinton, come on air to give a announcement with him standing side by side, which he then stepped aside and let Bill Clinton explain to everyone why they should go along. He's enlisted the help of the former president to sell the compromise because the leftists have said no. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask my people here, is this the change that we can believe in?
See, the thing is, when he was voted, he was almost held as like a god, like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
gonna
they had
change
bumper
everything.
stickers that said
Right.
"Savior." I was scared of that one.
Yeah.
He was
So,
put into
whoa.
an impossible situation.
Yeah,
Too
you-
much
He was
pressure.
set up for failure, I feel.
Me too.
But how about his performance?
Well,
Do you feel as though he is acting on his own will? Do you feel as though
I
the
think
president...
no president. I think that every president, and if you think they can't get a brother to do just, I can show you a whole bunch of brothers to do whatever you want them to do. If you give them a little cash.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's any different than any other president. I think to get to be president, you have to sit in a room with people I do not care for and say the right things. And if you don't say the right things, you don't even get to run.
Well,
That's
it's-
right.
it's-
So you can't...
Okay?
He has-
You don't even get to run because they just go, no. We outlast presidents. We
Yeah.
bankrolled the last 5.
okay.
But this is the thing. So he's not the person that we got to look
No.
at government as a whole.
No, it's
No,
just
it's
like the
just-
Federal Reserve Bank. Remember, let's raise this. Does everybody out here realize that the U.S. currency isn't backed by the U.S. It's backed by the Federal Reserve
That's
Bank,
right.
a privately owned enterprise.
Right.
So who runs your money? Do you know?
Who's in your
Hell
pocket
no,
with-
you don't know. That's what I'm saying.
right, reserves.
And those are maybe the same
Right.
folks you talk to be president.
But you have to remember, he had great intentions.
How do you know?
No. The thing is, you take anybody. When you come out of high school, you have great intentions, you have great dreams. But you know, you move to places like LA or just life in general, and life takes over, and you realize, okay, you know, I can't change the world, but I can change what's around me.
Right.
So, and you have to think of the time that he came to be president. When Bill was in president, and the scandal with Monica Lewinsky, it was easy. Like, I lived here at that time. Life was great for, you know, aliens, legal aliens, and stuff like that. You know, then 9/11 happened, and you know,
Got weird.
yeah, it got kind of weird. Now Obama came in, and you see everything that's transpired when he became president. I mean, you're expecting a lot from him.
Yeah, I agree with
You
that.
put him in a situation when Bill Clinton was there, he would, you know, be considered
Phenomenal.
great.
Don't ask, don't tell.
So
You got to realize though too, in general, not just for the president, but in life, it's dangerous to make a promise or to make a statement that you can't 100% back up.
Yeah, that's
I'd
what
rather have your
politicians
actions
do.
speak for yourself
Right.
than what your words. So
Okay.
you know what I mean? Don't make promises you can't, because
And he
if somebody
does.
tells me, you know what, I'm going to take you to lunch on Tuesday. Well, I want to be taken to lunch on Tuesday. That's just the way it works. That's human nature. So I expect now. That's it. And anything beyond that, for whatever reason, I'm disappointed.
So there's going to be a
Period.
backlash.
See, there's going to be a
Oh,
backlash because it's not
Okay.
delivering what he said he would deliver, and that's not. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not saying that
Right.
he's not trying to deliver
Right.
what he intended to. But you know that saying, "The road to
The
hell is
handwriting-
paved with good
Right.
intentions."
Right.
Right. I'm just looking at the record. By the way,
Right.
just for everybody as a comparison, I went back to look at how Truman desegregated the military. Now, you can imagine at the time, the average white folk in America didn't really want that. It wasn't a popular issue. So the reason why Truman did it as an executive order was to prevent it to be a vote in the Congress or the Senate where they knew it would not pass. So Truman wrote an executive order and desegregated the military in a day.
Right.
Obama's going around asking bodies to support.
Wow.
All I say, I'm just raising the comparison. I went to look what Truman did. It's for the record. Don't take my vote. Go look. Truman desegregated the U.S. military with an executive order, just like, you know, Bill Clinton could have done things. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I mean-
interesting. I saw Bill Clinton on the show, and they were talking about legalizing marijuana. And he said how bad it was, all the people who had suffered. And somebody raised their hand and said, too bad you never were in a position to do anything about it.
I like that. I like that.
Nice.
Yeah, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. You can always say blame or I couldn't have did.
All right.
The thing with politics too, you have to consider is that, you know, if you do something like that, then you're looking at everything else after that transpires after that. So, you know, you want to take those chances, but then you're also looking at your wife, your kids, how that's going to affect them later
your
on in
future.
life as
That's
well.
true.
So,
Or
you
your
know,
job.
he writes off something like that, or say when the whole Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky thing happened, all those senators were casting all these stones, and look how many senators came
Right.
out
And
cheating.
got revealed.
Right.
So
They all
you know,
cheat, huh?
But don't you wish that the president would act on moral consequence versus popularity contest?
Yes.
Yeah.
You would win.
And I don't
You
mind
would
the
hope.
president having someone give him some oral sex. Like,
Hey,
when
if
your
it keeps
fingers on
them
the
happy.
button, I want you getting all the head you want.
If the dollar goes up, baby, get on getting on.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
And as you know, as one of our friendly comedians once said, you needed Monica because the first lady wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
Because when you're the first
Hey.
lady, you shouldn't have to suck somebody.
Oh my God.
She's a wife first before a first lady. She needs to be
Well, that's what I didn't say it. That's Wanda
Give her some
Sykes.
heels.
Wanda Sykes is the one who said that. When you're the first lady of the United States, you shouldn't have to suck somebody.
You
You
guys.
need the Monicas in the world, right?
Yeah. Hey,
All
they're
right.
everywhere. Let me tell you, they
Not
are
to be the
everywhere.
president.
Monica's everywhere.
All right, I'm
She
gonna
gets
get.
around.
And so a couple more things. That's what to get you guys' reactions on. Okay, well, then we're going to go into the sports real quick. One, Wesley Snipes finally reported for jail.
Why?
Didn't
He's
pay
in.
taxes for 10